Hello again, everyone. Welcome to my sharing session again today. As you know, my name is Edgar Kampers. I'm the CEO of Dafco, P2P Lending. I'm truly honored to be here once again to share with everyone today 5 reasons why P2P lending has become a really hot trend in the international market. Okay, so let's begin today by talking about the traditional loans. Okay. As we all know, the traditional lending activities between two individuals is very structured and rigid. It's also many times based on credit and can be really difficult to be approved. So when you have a lot of money, you can lend it to family, friends, or anyone else, but it is kind of limited in a geographical distance in a sense. Even with today's technology, there's a lot of times where they just simply don't want money leaving a country, and vice versa. So this lending activity is subject to the laws created to benefit banks and intermediaries of each country. I mean, every bank you do a wire transfer with is going to charge a hefty fee. For example, Western Union, they're all going to charge you a big fee. Okay, so it is also subject to heavy fees for using intermediaries or third parties. Okay, so in recent years, traditional lending methods have exposed many disadvantages. So many investors or borrowers feel hesitant when deciding to use this method to invest or borrow money because it's just very inconvenient and expensive. Okay, so some more typical disadvantages of traditional lending platforms, as we've said, are additional costs. When borrowers use traditional lending platforms, they'll have to accept to pay additional costs incurred. This prevents the borrower from borrowing, even though they want to. Many times we'll think to ourselves, I want to do this, but the fees are too much. Am I making the right choice? You end up, second guessing your decision based on all these heavy fees. Okay? Another issue is the complicated loan procedures. Each bank will have different lending procedures, such as their individual loan process, their individual loan methods, their loan amounts, so many different details. And lending with so many procedures makes borrowers feel uncomfortable and sometimes not fully grasp the process to do and not really know how to go about doing this when wanting to borrow. For example, sending an international money transfer from China to, let's say, the US becomes very, very complicated. There's a lot of forms to fill out. There's many fees. It's just a very long, complicated process. It needs to be approved by this manager, be approved by this person and that person. So anyway, a lot of times during these trials, many customers get rejected for not meeting the required documents and the required criteria. Maybe they don't have enough money in their account. Maybe the bank doesn't support what they want to do because the bank would rather have their money in the bank's account. It's this kind of stuff that makes the lending processes more complicated and causes many obstacles for people who need to borrow and lend money. Okay? So these shortcomings are some of the reasons why I personally decided to build a new lending platform. It's a phenomenon in the financial industry because it's not only safe to trade, but also extremely fast and extremely convenient and extremely straightforward. Okay? So I think the information I share with you today will be very helpful to you all. Okay. So, as we know, as we've talked about before, P2P lending is known as a peer-to-peer lending system. Peer-to-peer lending platform. It's a new financial solution based on sharing or using capital. Okay, I use the word solution because the old ways were fraught with problems. Okay, so P2P allows borrowers and lenders to connect directly with each other without being approved by a bank or another intermediary or another financial institution. We can connect directly, P2P, person to person, okay? So lenders and borrowers only need an electronic device with a Wi-Fi connection, that's it. A phone, a tablet, a laptop. As long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, it becomes very easy and lightning fast. With a single click, they can match with each other easily. It is much simpler than traditional banks with a series of complicated and rigorous procedures that can just, really frustrate you. Okay, some more advantages of the P2P lending platform, okay? The transactions are safe and lightning fast, okay? We're at speeds now faster than Visa, okay? So P2P lending technology is considered as an investment trend of the future. Within just 5 minutes, lenders and borrowers can connect and transact safely, okay? So without having a knowledge about in-depth investment, this is a huge advantage of P2P lending compared to the other investment channels. Okay, so for example, traditionally there have been a lot of people who might wake up first thing in the morning and look at the stock market, what numbers, what's trending. Who should I buy today? Who should I sell today? All of this gets very complicated and very time consuming. Okay, P2P is a lot different. Okay, so because the P2P lending platform will evaluate the project based on financial and non-financial criteria and leading industry experts, it all becomes much more simplified. No research needed. Convenience is also a factor. Convenience in controlling cash flow. Cash flow controlling will be updated regularly via mobile applications anywhere, anytime that investors want. In other words, you can pick up your phone and take a look at how you're doing, or your tablet, from wherever you want, whenever you want. Okay? Another factor of P2P is high security. P2P lending networks can help participants transact directly with each other without holding any information about transactions. Everything is very, very transparent. So the lender and the borrower will not have to worry about losing money in the transaction process. Okay, so with the above advantages, the P2P lending platform has quickly spread around the world. This peer-to-peer lending sector has completely changed the perception of people concerned with finance. It brings more opportunities and diversity to investors and businesses around the whole world. Currently, the P2P lending model is popular, very popular, and strongly developed in the UK, US, and China. In particular, there are more than 6,000 reputable P2P lending exchanges around the world in 2018. More than 6,000. Okay, and that number has since grown. All right, so for example, in China, the P2P lending platform has more than 50 million subscribers. Okay, so they're doing great in China. Okay, the total transactions reach more than 190 billion US dollars. This makes China becoming the fastest growing and largest country in Asia to be using this technology. Okay, so as we have seen, the P2P lending model first appeared in the UK in 2005 from the Zopa company. It's the largest company in the UK with loan sales just in 2017 of $1.3 billion and forecast to grow to $300 billion by 2022. Okay, so with the above impressive numbers, we can say this market has extreme potential for growth. And next, I'll share the reasons why P2P lending has become a global phenomenon around the entire world. Okay, according to Statista, a very well-known and reputable statistics website, the P2P lending market will be worth trillions of dollars by 2025. Okay, trillions of dollars, trillions with a T. Okay, meanwhile, this market just reached $100 billion in 2020. Therefore, the industry has been growing extremely rapidly and will continue to grow extremely rapidly. So I believe that this is the main reason why borrowers and lenders switch to participate in the P2P lending platform all over the world like everyone's doing now. Now, I'll share some more reasons, 5 more reasons, why the P2P lending platform became the hottest trend worldwide and continues to do so. Okay, so There are many countries that accept P2P lending legally. Okay, so in the past, when the P2P lending platform first appeared, it was seen as, a non-reputable platform and not really recognized by law around the world due to, people didn't really know what it was. People didn't really have experience with it yet. But now, many countries have recognized P2P lending activity as legal, as when the Central Bank of Brazil had agreed to borrow on a worldwide P2P lending platform. So even central banks and nations are having, exchanges on this platform. So this has prompted the P2P lending platform to be accepted as legal in many parts of the world. And many parts of the world are continuing to accept it. And not only accept it, but use it because they're becoming aware of the investment and potential and all the capabilities and great possibilities from P2P. Okay, so in particular, the Australian government has encouraged P2P lending platforms to do business in their countries and to allow companies to operate without a license for up to 12 months. So this factor has brought a great opportunity to make P2P lending becoming popular and more popular globally. Okay, so the P2P lending platform is completely based on advanced technology. See, nowadays, the younger generation is growing up in the digital age and has a higher tech trend than the previous generations. I mean, we've all seen this, the kids, the teenagers, the 20-somethings, they're all really good with the technology, right? Now, the P2P lending platform is going to have a lot more opportunities for growth based on this idea that these younger people are going to be and already are extremely interested in this because of its convenience and its technologically based financial system. So as we are here in the digital age is allowing global connectivity, easier, faster, and more efficient transactions than ever before, than we could have even thought even possible, 10 years ago. So according to the BIS quarter review of 2018, they reported that the Bank for International Settlements, the largest P2P market, is China. It has more than 50 million people participating in this market. So like we said, it's growing really fast in China, and China is a world leader. So once again, I want to continue to emphasize that young people love the simplicity and the flexibility. So the P2P lending services are mainly provided online. Therefore, the loan process is simplified by eliminating the middleman, which, as we know, saves more money for us. So we get rid of the middleman, and then the extremely user-friendly interface of the loan platforms. Okay? So people who do not have too much knowledge about this lending platform can do it really easily in their first use. It's very user-friendly. Okay, so again, the younger generation aims for flexibility, not only at work, but also in their financial decisions. Therefore, the P2P lending platform is not only simple, but also flexible in use, and lenders have fewer restrictions than traditional banks. Investors are also very aware that there are many, many lending options when investing in the P2P lending platform. So the P2P lending platform helps investors control their investment sources very well, very transparently, very easily, simply, and conveniently, with a much higher potential for investment and to make more money, to say it simply. Okay, so young people are less risk averse and prefer higher profits. In other words, they're more into a, high risk, high gain kind of situation. So it can be said that the young people are inherently looking to make a lot more money and not be so conservative as previous generations. They're willing to take higher risks for a higher profit. They always tend to prefer high risk for higher returns than stability. Because when you're younger, you don't have as much to lose, right? Makes sense, right? So with this advantage, P2P lending platforms are often more profitable than traditional investment methods. And when you have that much more money coming in from risk-averse young people, everyone's going to win. Everyone's going to do a lot better. So, therefore, the P2P lending loan platform is a perfect and easy choice for young people to gain experience, as well as experienced in the investment world. So, as you know, many individuals really want to lend and borrow. So many people around the world still have tremendous lending and borrowing, ideas happening. And these ideas are going into action. So it means the P2P lending platform is a very fertile market for future growth. Currently, the population ages from age 15 to age 55 accounts for 70% of the entire world population. Now, this is the age group that tends to borrow money to meet their extremely high and potential needs. Therefore, the existence of the P2P lending platform not only meets the borrowing needs of everyone around the world, but also helps companies to borrow as much money as they want and need. Traditional banks cannot do that, and many people cannot qualify for a traditional loan in that sense. So, as well as bringing positive effects to the economic development of the country, it also brings positive effects to the economic development of the individual, and then after that, the whole world. Everybody wins. So, at present, they still do not have access to many lending methods suitable to their needs. The traditional methods are just not as good for the young people. So, therefore, this makes this a great opportunity for the P2P lending platform to fulfill and continue to become the hottest trend all over the world, financially speaking. Okay? So, as we've talked about all the above advantages, the P2P lending platform is enough to fully display why it is becoming so famous all over the world. Okay? Everybody knows this. P2P lending is considered to be extremely professional and has extremely secure platforms. It can satisfy the needs of investors and borrowers impressively, whereas traditional lending methods remain to be considerably difficult and not as accessible. So when comparing the two, it becomes an easy choice. Okay, P2P lending is the future. Okay, so I hope that with today's knowledge sharing session, everyone understands why the P2P lending platform has such tremendous potential for world financial growth and the individuals who comprise them, and deserves the number one position, P2P lending. So, as we can see, P2P lending platform has a lot more potential for growth, In comparison to current loan modalities, P2P is definitely the winner. For convenience, for profits, for simplicity, many reasons. Okay? Thank you very much to everyone who participated in today's sharing session. Goodbye. I will see you soon. It has been a pleasure speaking with you.